Hi friends, in my previous video I have explained about stages and especially about external stages. So first of all, what is a stage? What are the stage types in Snowflake? What are the external stages? How to use external stages? How to create external stages? And how we can load the data from external cloud storage providers to our Snowflake tables. I have explained everything in my previous session. So today I will explain about internal stages. Okay, so what is meant by internal stage and how we can use them? First of all, so as I discussed in my previous video, external stages are useful when the data files are available in the cloud storage providers like GCP or Azure or AWS, right? So if there are files available in the external cloud storage locations, by creating external stages, we can extract those data files and load that into Snowflake. But suppose if we have data files present in our local desktop like Windows machine or Linux server, okay, how we can extract those files data and load it into Snowflake? Okay, for that purpose we use internal stages. First of all, what is internal stage? Is nothing but it's a area in the Snowflake database itself. Okay, uh, it contains some internal staging area. Okay, so there are three types of total internal stages. Okay, we'll discuss each and everything. But internal is, it is the stage, the data files are located in the internal area of Snowflake itself, not like the external cloud storage providers. Okay, in the internal, suppose if we have files on our our Windows machine or Linux server, we can move those files to Snowflake internal staging area, and from there we can process. Okay, so that is the process that is meant by internal stage. Okay, so total there are three types of internal stages in Snowflake. They are user stage, table stage, and named internal stage. Okay, we'll see in detail about these three stages. Okay, so first of all, user stage. Okay, so what is meant by a user stage? A user is allocated to each A user stage is allocated to each user of storing sorry a user stage is allocated to each user for storing files. That means whenever a user is added to a Snowflake account, okay, so there will be some staging area allocated to that user. Okay, so he can store files in that user staging area, and he can do anything in that staging area. Okay, so whenever a user has been created in Snowflake account, some space, some storing area will be allocated to that user, so we call that as user stage. Okay, so how can we identify user stage? So by using this notation, so you can see at the rate and tilde symbol, right? So this is the symbol of user stage. Suppose if I want to list all the files from a user stage, I have to use this at the rate tilde. For external stage we use simply at the rate, right? But for user stage we have to use at the rate tilde. Okay, so this is the notation of user stage in Snowflake. Okay, to store files that are staged and managed by a single user but can be loaded into multiple tables. Suppose I am a user, so I have some internal staging area allocated for me in the Snowflake account. Okay, so and I have some 10 files to be loaded. They are different files. Okay, so all the files are available on my Windows desktop. So what I can do, by using some Snowsql client, I can copy all those files to user staging area in Snowflake, and from there by using the copy command I can load the data into tables. Okay, so that is the process. So here the thing is, a single user, by using this user stage, a single user can copy the files to, or can move the files from Windows machine to um, Snowflake internal staging area, but they can be loaded into multiple tables. Okay, just try to understand the difference between user stage and table stage. User stage is allocated for each and every user, so I can load any type of file. Suppose if I have customer data file, product data file, sales data file, everything, all types of files I can copy to Snowflake internal staging area, and from there, from I can copy it to user stage. From there, I can process and load the data into table. So here, a single user. That means I cannot copy my files to another user's staging area. Okay, so one single user can copy those files into staging area, and those files can be loaded into multiple tables. Here the thing is single user, and he can load the data into multiple tables from multiple files. Okay, so you will get some clarity when I explain about table stage as well. Okay, so user stages cannot be altered or dropped, so we cannot delete or drop, or even we cannot alter these user stages. Okay, so this option is not appropriate if multiple users require access to the files. Suppose if I have files on my desktop, but another user is trying to load those files into another user wants to load those files into uh, Snowflake tables. So in that case, this option is not appropriate, right? I have the files, but another user wants to load those files. So in that case, if I push the files to my internal staging area, he cannot access those files, right? So here the limitation is uh, a user can load multiple files into multiple tables, but he is a single user, only he can do that if the files are available on his desktop, okay, on his server. Okay, that's why this option is not appropriate if multiple users require access to these files. Okay, only single user can access these files and load them into Snowflake. Okay, so this is about user stage. You will get more clarity when I implement this practically and show it to you. Okay, so the next one is table stage. Okay, a table stage is available for each table created in Snowflake. Okay, so it is unlike user stage. Okay, whenever we create a table in Snowflake, by default some staging area will be allocated to the table. Okay, so just try to understand, whenever create some user, okay, some default staging area will be allocated to that user, that is user space. But like that, whenever we create a table in Snowflake, that will have some internal staging area for that table. Okay, so that stage will have the same name as the table name. Suppose if we are creating a table called customer, then there will be a table stage associated with the table with the same name, customer. So how can you see that staging area? So by using this notation, at the rate percentage, suppose if I have customer table, I want to see all the files present in that customer staging area, customer table stage. So how can I do that? Simply list at the rate percentage, and I have to provide the table name like customer list at the rate percentage customer. Then it will display all the files present in that table staging area. Okay, to store files that are staged and managed by one or more users but only loaded to a single table. Okay, so here try to understand, here one or more users can load the data, but they can load into a single table because this staging area is allocated to particular table. Okay, so we can load that data into a table, and even one or more users can easily load the data. Suppose there is a data table in the um, Snowflake database by name customer. Okay, I have some customer data file with me, and another user has some other customer data file with in his desktop or server. Okay, so the we both can copy those files to the table staging area. Okay, table staging area of customer. So whenever we both copy the files to that staging area, and whenever you run list at the rate percentage, it will display both the files, because this is not the user specific area, this is the table specific area. So multiple users can copy files to that table staging area, and later those files can be processed and loaded into the table. Okay, so hope you are understanding. Like user stages, table stages cannot be altered or dropped. We cannot drop, even we cannot alter the table stages. Okay, note that a table stage is not a separate database object. Rather, it is an implicit stage tied to the table itself. Both user stage and table stage, they are not separate database objects. So we are not going to create those as a database objects. By default, they will be allocated to user or table whenever a user or table has been created. Okay, I hope now you understood the difference between user stage and table stage. Okay, so here in the both cases we have some limitations. Here in this case only single user can load the data into multiple tables, but here multiple users can load the data into a single table. So these are the limitations. How can we overcome these two limitations? That means multiple users should be able to load the data into multiple tables, right? Suppose I have in my schema I have a set of tables like customer, product, sales, and even I have the corresponding files. Okay, customer file, sales file, product file. At the same time, my teammate also, he also has some other files like the customer file, the object file, or some files, and he wants to load all those files into a set of tables again, like a customer or product or sales table, right? So in that scenario, both of these options will not work, right? User stage and table stage, because here in the user stage only single user can load the data into multiple tables. In the table stage, here multiple users can load the data into a single table, right? Because this is table specific stage. So how to overcome this limitation? Okay, for that purpose we have a stage called a named internal stage. Okay, so here it is a named internal stage is a database object created in a schema. So unlike user and table stage, this is a database object. Okay, so those are not database objects. We are not going to create them. So whenever we create user or table, by default they will come. By default some staging area will be allocated to user and stage. But here named stage is a database object. That means we have to create that stage. Okay, to store files that are staged and managed by one or more users and loaded into one or more tables. So I already explained this, right? So to overcome the limitations of user stage and table stage, we have named stage where one or more users can load the data into one or more multiple tables. Okay, so we can create these stages by using create stage command. So similar to the external stages. So while creating the external stages I showed, right, how we can create a stage. Okay, with the same syntax we can create the named internal stages. And like external stages, for named internal stages also the syntax is the notation is at the rate, simply at the rate. Okay, so and this is the syntax for creating a internal stage. Create or replace stage. Okay, database name dot schema name. Suppose if I want to load if I want to create all my named stages in a schema called internal stages, so we can create a schema with this internal stages, and this is the name I am giving for my internal stage, named internal stage, sample stage. Okay, so this is how we can create named internal stages in Snowflake. We'll show you, okay, each and every stage I will show you practically how they will work. Okay, so suppose how can we copy the files from our Windows machine or Unix machine or Mac OS to Snowflake internal staging area? Okay, suppose if I am using Linux or Mac OS. Okay, so how we can copy the files from our desktop to uh, Snowflake staging area? So this is the command. Okay, put file. Okay, so here put file semicolon two slashes and the path of that file in the Linux server or Mac OS server. Okay, so here the root directory data.csv. I want to copy this file to. So whenever you see this at the rate tilde, so what is this? At the rate tilde means what is this? It's a user stage. So here my requirement is I want to copy this data.csv file to user stage. Okay, so this is the syntax for that. Okay, so all these files will be loaded into one folder called staged. In the user stage we can maintain some folders as well. So there is a folder called staged. I want to copy this data.csv into a folder in my user stage, that is staged. Okay, So the same way, if I want to copy a file to a table stage, how we can do that? Suppose if I want to copy this file, okay, to table staging area, so this is the syntax. Okay, instead of tilde, we have to use the percentage symbol. So at the rate tilde is the user stage, at the rate percent is the table stage. So this is the syntax. The same way, if I want to copy a file to named internal stage, this is the command. Okay, put file, okay, uh, the path of that file, and at the rate the stage we have created. So this my stage we have to create first, then only we can copy these files to this staging area. Okay, so if you observe, we are using a command called put to copy the files from our local desktop to Snowflake staging area. So you have to understand the difference between put and copy. Okay, so you will get this question in many interviews, or your friends may ask what is the difference between put and copy. Put we use to copy the files from local desktop or from a local server to Snowflake internal staging area, and we use copy command to load the data into a table from external stages or internal stages. Okay, so in the Windows machine also the syntax is same. Instead of the path of the file, we have to put the location of the file. Suppose this data.csv file is present in my c colon data folder. Okay, c drive data folder. So I can copy just by using simple put file, okay, c colon data.csv, okay, at the rate same tilde symbol. If I want to copy it to table stage, it is at the rate percentage the table name. Okay, if it is a named internal stage, at the rate the stage name we have given. Okay, like this we can copy. So today I will show you this one only. I have some files in my Windows machine. So from command prompt we can execute, we can connect to SnowSQL. Okay, and by using SnowSQL we can connect to our Snowflake account, and by executing these put commands we can simply copy these files to staging area of Snowflake. Okay, so this I already have explained how we can list the files in the user staging area or table staging area or named staging area. So simple list at the rate tilde for user stage, list at the rate percentage my table. So this is the table name. Okay, we have to give. And for named internal stages, this is simply like external stages, list at the rate the stage name. Okay, so still if you have some doubts on how it will work, so with this diagram your doubts will be cleared. Okay, suppose consider this is my local file system. It can be Windows or Linux server or whatever it is. Okay, so I have my files in the local file system. Okay, and this is the Snowflake account. Now how can we load these local files to Snowflake staging Snowflake tables? Okay, this is my storage area of Snowflake, and this blue box is complete blue box is my Snowflake account. Now if you see, I have three types of files here. So the one is I want to copy these files to named stage and then load the data into a table. And I have table stage. I have some files. I want to copy these files to table staging area and then load into the table. And also I have some files. I want to copy them to user staging area. Okay, and then load the data into a table. So this is my requirement. Now if you see, let's start with user staging area. So I told, right, whenever some user has been created in the Snowflake account, okay, so he will have some staging area. Suppose he is the user. Okay, he is the user, and he has some the area listed in this dots is the staging area allocated to this particular user. So if I want to copy, if I have files in my desktop, if I want to copy these files, local files, by using put command, I can put the files in the staging area. Okay, so in the staging area, from this staging area, if I want to load the data, simply I can load into this table by using copy into this table from this user staging area. Okay, the same way, I have some files. I want to copy these files to table staging area. So where is the table staging area? So in the database itself. Whenever we create a table, some default staging area will be allocated to the table. So if you see again this dots, this dots, this is the table stage allocated to this particular table. So if we have 100 tables, there will be 100 table stages allocated to all those 100 tables. Okay, so now by using this put command, I can copy these files into the staging area, and by using this copy command, copy into this table name from this table staging area. Okay, I can load the files into this table. The same way, if I want to copy the files, okay, into a internal stage, named internal stage. So again, so I told you, right, this staging area we have to create actually. Okay, so here we are not creating, these are default, but here I will create this staging area, and I will copy these files by using put command. I will copy these files to this staging area. Okay, and then I will load these files into a table by using the copy command, copy into table name from this named stage. Okay, so this is how it works. I hope this will help you. Okay, this diagram will help you in understanding how we can copy the files and load them into Snowflake by using internal stages. Okay, so while explaining the practical part, you will get better understanding. Okay, so now after moving the files to staging area, how we can process them. So no need to explain, this is similar as external stages, how we have written copy command the same way. So for user stage, this is how we can load copy into table from this is my user staging area at the rate tilde staged. Okay, so I have my files, I have copied my files to this user staging area. That's why copy into table from this user staging area, and I have to specify the file format. Okay, so file format we have to specify. I have explained in my previous video how what is a file format and how we can use that. Okay, so like the similar way for the table stage, if I want to copy the data from table stage to Snowflake table, so this is the same syntax. Instead of at the rate tilde, we have to give at the rate percentage symbol here. At the rate percentage, suppose if I want to load the data into a customer table. Okay, so copy into the table name, so here it should be customer, it's a mistake here. Okay, copy into customer from at the rate customer. Okay, so just ignore this, I'll correct this mistake later. Copy into customer from at the rate percentage customer, because I told you, right, the table staging area name should be same, it is same as the table name. Okay, and I have to specify the file format like this. The same way, we can copy the data from named internal stages to Snowflake by using this command, copy into the table name from the internal stage. Okay, so here if you see, I am not specifying any file format, because while creating the stage itself, I have given the file format. Okay, so in the stage, I have explained in the previous session, right? So we can mention the file format while creating the stage itself. That's why I haven't given any file format object here. Okay, so the syntax is almost similar, only this thing will change: at the rate tilde, at the rate percentage. Okay, so this is about internal stages in Snowflake. Okay, now let's see practically. Okay, how we can install SnowSQL, how we can connect to SnowSQL from our desktop, and how we can put these files into the Snowflake staging area. From there, how we can process it. Let's see. Okay, okay, now let's see how to install SnowSQL. Okay, so I have given clear instructions how to install SnowSQL and how to log into Snowflake account from SnowSQL in this. Okay, uh, I will give all these commands and instructions in the description of this video. You can take it from there. Okay, so to install SnowSQL, actually there are two options. First thing is downloading the software, okay, from this link and installing it. The second one is just running this curl command from the command line prompt. Okay, so let's see the both the options. First of all, if you want to download this NoSQL, software and install it, just take this URL, go to the browser, okay, and give it here. So here it is giving the instructions to install the Snowsql. Okay, so ignore all this, just come down. So here you can see one thing, downloading the Snowsql installer. Okay, so here they have given the link for the software. Okay, just click on that link. Okay, it will take you to this page. So here it is saying, here it is asking, download the latest version of your OS, latest version for your OS. Okay, that means there are three types of softwares. Okay, one is for Linux server, one is for Mac OS, and one is for Windows machine. Okay, so all the three softwares are available here. If you are using a Linux OS, then you can download this one. If you are using Apple Mac, then you can use this one. You can download and install this one. Otherwise, for if you are using Windows machine like me, you can download this. Okay, so just click on this, the software will be downloaded. Okay, and if you want to install, just double click on this. Okay, so this installation wizard will appear. Just click on the next install. That's it, the software will be installed on your machine. Okay, so this is one way where just go to the link provided there and install the Snowsql based on the OS you are using. Okay, so that the installation will be completed. So this is one way. The second way is, if you come back to my sheet, you can download this sheet from the description of this video. The second one is, just open the command line prompt and give this command there. Okay, so that Snowsql will be downloaded and installed directly on your machine. Okay, this is the second option. So how to go to that command line prompt? Simply type cmd here. Okay, so the command prompt will appear. Okay, so this is the command prompt, right? So here, if you just run this, copy and paste this command, control C, just okay, if you just click on this, it will be installed. The Snowsql software will be installed on your machine. This is the second option. You can do either of these things. So the installation is completed now. Okay, and if you want more details, suppose if you are using another machine like Mac or Linux OS, and if you have any confusion how to install this, so in this link, uh, the Snowflake documentation is available. So it will clearly explain how to download the software, how to install. All the instructions are available in this documentation. You can use this one. Okay, so now we are done with the installation of Snowsql, right? Now the thing is, we have Snowsql installed on our machine and we have our Snowflake account. Now how we can log in into our Snowflake account from the Snowsql? Okay, so this is the command, log into Snowflake from the Snowsql client. Okay, so this is the command, Snowsql -a and your account name. Okay, so Snowsql -a means account. This is my account name. How to get this account name? Okay, go to your Snowflake. Okay, so this is your Snowflake account route, right? So here you can get this account ID from this URL itself. Okay, so here this is your account ID. Okay, so you can see it here, right? Okay, so we can, I have another account also, that one also you can get. Okay, so let me open that account itself, otherwise. Okay, ignore it, we'll connect to this account only. Then we can use either of them. Why it is asking me here? Okay, ignore that. So actually, if you are using, if you have created your account recently, then it will come like this. Okay, the account ID will come like this. The account ID dot the region dot aws, it will come like this. But in the old accounts this dot aws was not coming. Suppose let's see. So this is my old account. Here if you see, this is the account id, and here I can see only the region. But in the newer version that I have created recently in the Snowflake account that I had created recently, here you can see this is the account id, this part, and this part is the region.aws. Okay, so you can based on the based on the version of Snowflake you have installed, you can prepare your command like this: snowsql hyphen a, okay, and your account id dot region id dot the aws, otherwise simply like this. Okay, so you can prepare your command like this and take your snowsql command. Let's come back to command prompt. Okay, so paste it here and execute it. Just enter, it will be executed. Okay, so ignore about those permissions error. It is asking the username, so just to provide the username that you have given while creating your Snowflake account. Okay, so I have given my username. It is asking for the password. Enter the password. Okay, now it will go to this prompt. So here you can see, right, it is uh, we have logged into Snowflake account with this username, and here we can see the warehouse name, okay, database name, and a schema name. Currently they are it hasn't selected any warehouse, database, or schema. Okay, now this is the SQL command prompt. So whatever the SQL commands we can execute here, we can execute the same from this command prompt. For example, if I want to select data from any table, okay, so suppose I have a table called emp in the public schema of mydb. So let me select this, just copy this and run it here. Okay, so what it is saying, no active warehouse selected in the current session. Select an active warehouse with the use warehouse command. So even though even in our web UI, what will happen if you don't select any warehouse here, the command will not be executed, because that is the query processing warehouse, right? So we have to select a warehouse first. Here in web UI we have two options, like one is by using the command use warehouse name, we can select the warehouse. Otherwise we can just drop drag and drop, no, we can just click on this and we can select the warehouse name, right? But we have the we don't have that drag option or selecting that option. So what we have to do here, so we have to select our warehouse by the command itself. So use warehouse. Okay, the warehouse, it is showing what are the warehouses available. Here I have only one warehouse. Okay, just select that by using up and down arrows. Okay, and put semicolon, execute it. Now you can see here it is showing we have selected sample warehouse. Like that, if I want to select the database and schema also, I can select. For example, so I have given that commands as well. Use warehouse, warehouse name. Use database, okay, database name. Okay, so whenever you selected the database, by default it will go to public schema. But if you want to go to another schema, you can simply use schema. So here there are two schemas, right? Internal stages. Okay, if I want to go to that internal stages schema, simply I can enter. Okay, but if I want to come back to public schema again, use schema public. Okay, like that we can select warehouse, database, and schema. Now execute the same command. So select star from mydb public employee table. So you can either take the command from here, okay, otherwise by using up and down arrows you can go and execute previous commands. Just I am clicking on I'm cl- I'm entering on the, sorry, I'm clicking on the, or I'm pressing the up arrow on the keyboard. Okay, so it will take you to the previous commands we have already executed. Okay, so I'm stopping at this command, select star from uh, a emp table, executing that. Okay, so here you can see there are some 5 records in the table. Okay, these are the 5 records. It is displaying the data. Suppose if you want to check the same, you can check select star from emp here. Okay, it will display the same 5 records also. Same 5 records here also. That is how we can uh, log into our Snowflake account, and we can run the same SQL commands. Those we can run in the web UI. Okay, all the commands we can run here easily. Okay, so when this NoSQL is useful, suppose if I am using some programming, okay, some scripting, shell scripting or Python scripting, there if I want to connect to my Snowflake account from the programmings, so in that case this NoSQL will be very useful. Okay, you can connect anywhere. Okay, or when this is useful, okay, suppose if I have my files on the a Windows local machine or the Unix server. If I want to process those files, if I want to load those files into Snowflake, in that case, I have to install the SnowSQL, and from this SnowSQL only, we can copy the files from our local desktop to the internal stage of Snowflake, and we can process them. Okay, let's see the same today. So we have already discussed in the theoretical part, right? There are 3 types of internal stages: user, table, and named internal stage. So let's practice. Let's copy all 3 types of files, and let's load them into Snowflake. We'll see that. Okay, so first we'll work on the user stage. So what I'm doing here, so I'm going to explain about user stage first. Put your files into the user internal stage. Okay, so this is the command. Let's look at the row number 36, line number 36. So this is the command I can use to copy the files from my desktop to uh, this user staging area. How I am saying this is user staging area? So by using this notation at the rate tilde symbol, and in my user staging area I want to copy the files into a folder, staged folder. That's why I want to I am just giving staged. Suppose here I want to copy the files to another subfolder like CSV. Okay, so I can give like this. So a folder will be created with the name staged CSV, and the file will be uploaded to that path. Okay, like that we can copy to different folders in the user stage. Okay, so let's take this command and execute it. Okay, suppose if your command is put command is failing, okay, it should not fail, it should work. But in case if it is failing, okay, what you have to do? So if your put command is failing with the 403 forbidden error, something like this, it is throwing this put command is throwing some error like this, then what you can do? So you can watch my another video. So after this video, I will post another video with the video name AWS Snowflake integration. Once that is completed, okay, then you come back. Once the storage integration object has been created, once that practice session is completed, then come back here and try to push the files. Okay, but it should work without AWS Snowflake integration. This should work. Okay, so I'm taking this command. Okay, so if you want to check the files where the files are available, so how the put command, I'm preparing this put command. Okay, put space the file colon double slash and the location of your file, location of your files in the Windows machine. So I have suppose let's see user Janardhan OneDrive documents. Under documents I have a folder called files. In the files I have this pets data.json. So if you want to check, so you can go here. Okay, just go to documents, files folder. So here if you see pets.json. Okay, so if you want to take the location of this file, just put your mouse here, click your mouse here, then it is giving the location, right? Just simply copy this and paste here, file, okay, colon double slash and this location. Okay, so whatever the location coming here, and what is the file name you want to upload to user internal stage. So this is how you can prepare the command. Put file, the location of the file, okay, at the rate tilde symbol, and the folder where I want to copy this. Okay, so this is the command. So let's take that command and execute the same. Copy, paste, and execute. Okay, so what it is saying? So it has the run was completed and it is giving me one result, one row produced. So what it is saying in the output, so this is the file we have copied from the source to target, and this is the source size. In the source size it is 517 bytes, but in the target side it is 304, because it is implementing the compression, right? Whatever the files we are uploading, it will compress that file and store in the user staging area or table staging area, or the named internal staging area. But whenever you try to extract them, by default it will be uncompressed and you can extract the file while loading by using the copy command. So here it is saying source target, source file, target file, this is the file, .gz it is saying. Okay, this is the file size of source side, this is the target size file side. And the source compression, no, in source side it is not compressed, but target side it is compressed with the gzip. Okay, and the status is, it is saying uploaded. If you get any errors, here the error message will display. Okay, so now my file has been copied to the user staging area. Okay, so let me copy one more file. Okay, so this is my one more file. This here my file name is customer data user.csv. Okay, to the same path I am copying. So this is also completed. Okay, here you can see the status uploaded, successfully uploaded. Now if you want to list these files, so how can you confirm that files has been uploaded to user staging area? So we have a command called, I have already explained while explaining in the PPT, right? So what is the command we can use? List at the rate the tilde symbol and the folder where we have placed the files. So let's take this command. Okay, come to this command prompt and execute. So it is saying there are two files, one is customer data user and the second one is pets data. So whatever the files we have uploaded, we can see them here. So if you want to see the same, if you want to execute the same command from web UI, you can do. So here also it will give you the same output, list at the rate uh, tilde symbol staged folder. So here you can see whatever the output we can see from this Snowsql command prompt. From web UI also we can see the same. So this is how I can put the files in the user staging area. Okay, now we have to load this file into Snowflake table. We'll see that in a while. First of all, this is how I can copy the files or put the files in the user staging area. Now let's see the same in the table staging area. How can I put some file into the table staging area? Okay, so the command is same. Okay, put the file location. So here I am taking a file from the same location but with a different name. So here I have used customer data user. Here I am taking the file customer data table. Okay, same file, but here something is changing, because here at the rate percentage, this is the notation of the table stage, right? And we have to provide the table name, I told you already. So whatever the table name, the stage name also, the table stage name also will be same as the table name. Okay, so suppose my table is customer data table. If I want to move this file to this table staging area, then I have to prepare a command like this. Okay, so let's execute this command. Okay, so okay, if the table is already available there, okay, so it will be uploaded. But if the table is not there, suppose let's come back here. Okay, I'm dropping the table, drop table. Okay, mydb dot public dot customer data table. Okay, the table is already available. Suppose I'm dropping the table. Okay, now the table is not available. If you want to check, you can check. Okay, so just I'm refreshing. So the table gone, customer data table gone. Suppose if the table is not available. Okay, now let's try to put the file there. Okay, I want to execute this same command. Okay, now if you want to check list at the rate percentage. Okay, let's execute this command, you will get some idea. So what it is saying, compilation error. So does not exist. Even though we have copied here, we have, you can see here, right? So we have copied the file. Okay, it was moved to the table staging area. But whenever we drop the table, along with the table, even this table staging area will be deleted. So you cannot access that file. So now let me try to push the same file. Okay, so whatever I have executed here, right? So I'm taking the same command and I'm trying to push the file to table staging area. So now what will happen? Still you cannot move because the table doesn't exist, right? The table was dropped. Now whenever the table is there, then only some staging area will be allocated to the table and we can push the files to that staging area. But if the table doesn't exist, how we can move the file? We cannot move. But it is different in the user stage, because the user stage is allocated to the user, not to the table. So even the table doesn't exist, we can move the files to user staging area. But here in the table staging area, if the table is available, then only we can push the files to the table staging area. Okay, so what I can do, let me create this table again. Okay, let me create the table. Okay, so the table has been created. Now let's try to execute the same command where I want to push the file to table staging area. Okay, so this is my command. I'm just running the command, same command. Now it is saying it is pushed to the table staging area. So if you want to check, how we can check? By using the list command, list at the rate percentage and the table name. So here you can see now. So one file is there, customer data table.csv.gz. It was zipped and stored. Okay, and you can see when it was last modified information or last uploaded data also. Here you can see. So what will if you want to try, if you try to copy the same file, so what it will do? Let's see. So here if you see, it is saying status is skipped because that file is already available. So whenever we push that file for the first time, it was uploaded, right? Right? So you can see that uploaded, but this time it has been skipped. One second. Okay. So whenever we try to push the same file, it will be skipped. You can see that status here. Now the file is available. So now we are good with the table staging area as well. Now let's come to the named stage. Okay, so where I want to put, okay, some files into the named staging area. So as I already explained, named staging area is a database object. That means we have to create that stage, then only we can push the files to that stage. So how to create a stage object? So I have already explained. Okay, so like we have seen in the previous sessions how we have created stage objects, the same way we can create. Okay, let's see the same. First of all, I want to uh, I want to create a schema for internal stages. I want to store all my internal stages I am going to create in future under one schema called internal stages. Okay, let's execute the same. Okay, if the schema already exists, okay, it will not be created. If the schema doesn't exist, then it will be created. Now I want to create my stage object. How we can create the stage object? Simply by using create or replace stage. Okay, internal stages, database name dot the schema name dot whatever the stage name I want to create. Okay, so let me do this. So this is my create stage command. I have created this stage. Suppose if I am using this stage just to copy, just to load the customer files. In the same way, if I want to load the orders files or product files, what I have to do? I have to create a different stage object. Otherwise, in the copy command you can mention the file format. Suppose, let's see, I want to create one more stage. Okay, or if I want to copy the files from one more location, like that. So we can, So what I want to say, we can create multiple stages like this in the schema. In the schema we have created where we want to store all our internal stages. And let's see that. Okay, that is completed, and I am creating one more. Okay, that is also completed. Now if I want to see all my internal stages, okay, so here we have created, but if I want to see all my internal stages, so this is the command we can use. Show stages in this one, database name dot schema name, where we are creating all the internal stage objects. Okay, so if you execute this command, okay, so here it is saying there are three internal stages. Okay, named product stage, named order stage, and named customer stage. You can see here we have created these three, right? So you can execute this command from anywhere. Suppose I can execute the same command from this command prompt. Okay, you can see there are three stages present in my internal stages schema. Those we have created just now. Okay, so this is how we can create the stages. Okay, now I want to put my file. Okay, so I have a file and I want to process that file. Okay, so I want to put that file in the named staging area. Okay, so how we can write that command? It's simple. Put, okay, the same the command we have used previously, right? The same command, put file location of the file. So here I am moving the file customer data named. Okay, and this is my stage name we have created just now, right? So this is my stage name. So what is the notation of named internal stage? At the rate, simply at the rate. Okay, at the rate, and the name of the stage object we have created. This is the name of my named stage object. Okay, so let's take this command, execute it, and you can see this was uploaded. Okay, this customer data named .csv file uploaded, and you can see it was zipped. Okay, so in the source size it was some 4000 plus bytes, but here the size reduced after compression to 2.4 k bytes. Okay, so now we are done with copying of all files. Suppose if I want to check the file was uploaded properly or not, so you can run this command. You can run from either web UI or you can run from Snowsql itself. Okay, so here it is saying the file was uploaded and it was last modified on this date. That means just now. Okay, so you can run the same command from command prompt itself if you want. So here also it is giving. So whatever the commands we can execute from web UI, the same we can execute from this command prompt also. Okay, now we have copied all the files. We have moved all the files to staging area. So we have moved two files to user staging area. We have moved uh, one file to table staging area, and then we have moved one more file to named staging area. Okay, now all my files are available in the staging area. Now I want to load them into the table, Snowflake table. That is our end goal, right? Why we are moving or pushing the files to internal staging area? Because the files are not in the cloud storage provider, okay, like S3 bucket or Azure containers, but the files are available in the Linux server or in the local Windows desktop. If I want to process these files, okay, I have to upload those files to the staging area of Snowflake, and from there we can um, load by using the copy command. So I wanted to show you how we can work with the different internal stages like user, table, and named staging area. That's why I have shown you all three types of internal stages, how you can push the files to all types of internal stages. Now this is my copy command. Okay, so I want to uh, extract the data from all these three files that just I have uploaded. You can just forget about this pets JSON file. Okay, just for understanding how we can copy multiple files, I have shown you two commands here. Okay, but now when you just think about the customer data files, there are three customer data files: customer data user.csv, customer data table.csv, customer data name.csv. Now I want to load all these three files into a table called customer data table. So what is the command we have to use to load the data from file to table? Copy command, right? Copy into, so this is my table name, copy into table name from, so the first command is @user staged. So I want to load this file by extracting it from the user staging area. Okay, from user staging area. Okay, and the file format. So I have taken this file format from the files we have uploaded. So they are of CSV type files, and field delimiter is pipe symbol, and skip header equals to 1. That means the file contains first row as the column names. That's why I want to skip the header. Okay, so this is the command, copy into table name from user staging area, and by using this file format. What is my next command? Copy into table name from table staging area. How I am saying it is a table staging area? By using this one, this notation @percentage. Okay, the same command, simply I am changing here. Only this part I am changing here. Okay, so this part I am changing here. Okay, and if you see here, earlier it was a data user, here data table file name. Just you can observe the difference in the file name even. And the last command is copy into table name from named internal stage. Okay, this is my named internal stage, and I want to load this file, customer data name.csv. Okay, and the same file format for this one also. Okay, so let's execute all these three commands. Okay, so first command I am executing it from here itself. Okay, it's completed. Okay, it's completed. It is saying number of rows loaded 19. Okay, let's take the second command. Let's execute it again from command prompt. Okay, so this is also completed, and number of rows loaded 30. 30 plus 19, 49. Okay, now let's take the command, third command. Okay, and we can execute it from either from Snowsql or from web UI. So let's execute it from here. Okay, so file load is completed and 51 rows loaded. So 49 plus 51, there are 100 rows we have loaded finally from the three files. So if you want to check the same, okay, so you can execute this command. Okay, so how we can validate the data? Just by using select star from the table. So into which table we have loaded the data? This is the table. Okay, so let's take this command and run it here. Okay, so now you can see here, right, all the 100 rows loaded. You can see the same from here also. For better viewing, okay, for better viewing of results, you can execute that command from here. So it is saying there are 100 records loaded. Okay, I hope you are understanding what I am explaining. Okay, so in this session I have explained so how we can what first of all, what are the internal stages, what are the three types of internal stages, and what is the purpose of internal stages, and how we can install, how we can download and install the Snowsql on Windows machine or Mac or a Linux machine, and how we can connect our Snowflake account from the Snowsql, and how we can execute and how we can push the files into the staging area of Snowflake by using put command, and then how we can load those files into the final Snowflake target table. So we have seen all these things. I hope this is helpful. Okay, um, yeah, so if you have I will upload all these commands along with the download and installation instructions. Upload I will paste all these commands in the description of this video. You can take it from there and you can practice it. Okay. Thank you. And please don't forget, please subscribe to my channel if not done already. Okay. Thank you. Thanks for watching this video. Please subscribe to my channel. And if you have any doubts, you can reach me on this email ID. Thank you.